Clearly, the epidemic has escalated considerably globally in the last few weeks, and this will have a negative impact on industrial production much more widely than only in China. Of course, China has already been very badly hit during the month of February. China is the factory of the world, and industrial production in China most of February, but things should improve in the month of March in China. However, now we see new problems in other countries with escalating cases, particularly South Korea, which is also an important industrial economy in the Asia Pacific, is now being also badly affected by the epidemic of coronavirus. So this will probably impact on their industrial production. And really at the beginning of this year, even before the coronavirus epidemic started, we saw that in Europe and Japan, industrial production was already quite weak. And now this coronavirus is starting to hit Italy and some other countries in Europe as well. So it's likely to also affect industrial activity in Europe, at least in the coming months ahead.
On the IHS Markit calculation, have you now do this kind of revisions, and also do the revise on the target numbers that has been discussed before? To what extent it will drag down more for this manufacturing activity on the percentage?
If we look at the global economy, at the beginning of February, we had downgraded our global forecast by only 0.1% for global growth. So we still expected global growth to be around 2.5% this year. But because of this escalating impact beyond China, we're now downgrading further our global forecast for world growth to about 2%. So 0.5% reduction in our forecast for world economic growth. And of course, that also means that many countries will have big revisions to their forecast. China, we had been expecting China would grow at 5.4%. At the beginning of February, that was our estimate, but we also will downgrade China, and also because of this spreading epidemic in other countries, we will have to revise down our forecast for other countries, such as South Korea. Japan is also being affected, so some slight further revision downwards for Japan. And then, of course, we have to also take into account that activity levels in Europe are now starting to be affected. At the moment, it's an early stage of escalation in Europe, but the number of cases is rising very quickly in Italy, and there's some spreading to other countries as well. So we need to see how well can the health authorities in Europe control the spread, because if it escalates much more, it could hit industrial activity and consumer spending in Europe, and Europe is a very huge economy, so that is an important risk to the outlook.